Welcome back to the fourth and what I imagine is going to be the final part of the playthrough now. If I just look at these cards, if I can just manoeuvre them there, you can see still got a fair few cards to go through, but the situation is quite dire at the moment. We've not got many defenders, the defences, in fact all four defences are down at level 3, so we're going to keep getting hit. We've got tanks all over the place. I can't see us getting a storm group raid in. Operational support, I don't think we're going to get disrupted counters everywhere. Basically, everything's gone wrong now. So, let's see how we end up. I mean, it's not been without its chances, because I did have the option to do the operational support and I didn't do it. I should have done it. 4 victory points. We had a chance to do a storm group raid, or we didn't actually. I didn't pull the right card, but if we had, we could have done a storm group raid, could have got points there, so could have ended up with sort of 12, 10, 12 victory points in the bag, but it wasn't to be. So let's take our first 4 cards. I've not got any plans really for what I'm going to do here, so let's have a look at where we are. Now at the moment, if you can see there, we've got artillery in place. I've got 1 anti-aircraft counter ready. Might take another one. What I really do need, and let's look where we go here. We've got the 13th Guards, which is a no-brainer. We need some more. We need some more people here. So that's going to be our first go. Let's get the right counters out. I think so many things I need here. One, no suppression value, but that's 4. So possibly this guy. That's 6. In fact, I'm not committing him into the reserves yet, but the main thing is he's got the command. So potentially this guy. We've still got the 2 anti-tank guns. We've still got Chekhov actually. We haven't got any flotillas. I still need another food across there as well, so that's could have done with that. He's the same. So what we've got is we've got 2 more we can make, and I think I'm just going to go with the standard 1 attack once, and Masiashvili, is that how it's pronounced? So we've got Naumov and Masiamishvili. Now let's call him M. So that's our first card used, the 13th. I'm going to could actually get some more reserves in. Tell you what I'm going to do. But no sappers, so we can't put any more sappers in. We've got those covering that, so that can help us a bit. I think what I'm going to do, whether this is a good move or not, I'm going to put another anti-aircraft counter on the 1083rd. Use that. Now, do I go for more reserves? I'm going to go for more reserves because I could end up losing some of these with the poor defence values. I was tempted to get rid of some of the disrupted counters, but I'm going to go with, how many have we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we end up with another 2 more. It's going to cost us 2 food. So we're going to have Afanasyev. And then I'm going to go with this. I can't go with that guy. That's the cost of 3. What have we got? What have we got? Oh, we haven't got... No, I'm not going with this guy. I've got no forward observer. So I'm going with Petansky. Where was this other one I looked at? Is it Pavlov? Anyway, he's 3 as well, so that's my 6 costs. So that's us done. So we've got 4 reserves there. I might even hold some in reserve. Well, I can't get them all out anyway. So that one's done. So let's go with the tactics card first. When rolling to determine Wehrmacht counter placement, roll 3 dice and use the lowest result. Ignore the effect of this card if the right flank card is also in play. I've not come across the right flank card, so I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's something... Anyway, I don't know what the right flank card is, but not to worry. It's maybe something I've not seen in the game. And that's quite useful in some ways, because it means that if a Wehrmacht comes to the board, rolling 3 dice and taking the lowest, chances are you're going to get a 1 or a 2. So, mind you, I'm not going to move anybody in that time. It avoids getting a 4 or a 6. You're very unlikely to roll 3 6s. So hopefully that could actually help us this turn. Well, yeah, you'll see. So we've got a Panzer IV. We'll roll 3 dice. As you know, obviously we'd normally roll 1 to see where it's placed, and we're going to take the lowest number. And it's a 4. So that one is going here. So now this is where we could be getting towards the end game. So that's the first one. Yeah, let me just, because I've not explained this before, so let's just read this part of the game out. Sapper defences. If a Wehrmacht counter advances into a Wehrmacht counter location with a Sapper token, which it has, place the Sapper token in the stock and roll 3 dice. Sorry, I'm not showing you. If at least one of the dice rolled is equal to or higher than the Wehrmacht counter's defence value, the Wehrmacht counter is returned to the stock. So, we're going to move the Sapper token, goes back into here, and we're going to roll 3 dice. And we need one of these to be a 5. If not, we're in danger of actually losing very soon. We've got a 6, so that's good news. This guy is gone, back into the stockpile. So that's our first one this turn. And a scout. So, we haven't got any suppression counters. Again, we're going to roll 3. And the lowest is 2, so that is going to go into a green area. So, we find a scout in this lot. There we go. He goes to there. Let's see. Attack defender. So it's a sniper. He'll be rolling 4 dice. We've got no first aid tokens. So let's see who he's going after. I don't know if he ends up in purple, whether we get away with it. So let's see what we roll first. A 4, so we are in. 4 is the red area. So we've got 2. I'll need that still. So we're in the red area now. Who's he focusing on? 6. Now, nobody in 6. So normally when you roll, it goes to the next highest. If there's nobody higher, which there isn't, it goes to this one. So we're attacking one of these guys. It doesn't matter which, and you can choose. So we've got 4 dice. He needs to get higher or equal to the defence value which as we know for all of them now is 3. So this is going to disrupt one of these guys. Oh no, actually it's not, it's going to get rid of one of them. Yeah, 3 and a 5 there. So with the sniper, they are taken out. I'm going to take out Shkaratov. So Turgenov is still there but can't use, and he's actually removed from the game. Not put back in stock. He's dead. And that's their turn. Now, what are we going to do? Move 3. I'm going to move right. I want to, but to tell you what I'm going to do, because this guy's not a lot of use now at the moment, so I'm going to replace him with Potansky. I can do that because he's not disrupted or exhausted. He goes back to wherever Potansky came from, which is the reserves box. So they're in the reserves box there. And then that's one moved. I need this guy in, and what I'm going to do is, as we said before, that is probably as safe as you're going to get. There's nowhere safe on this board at the moment, but that's 2. And I'm going to just want to check if I attack, can one of my guys? No, I can only attack infantry counters. So yeah, these, I was just wondering about putting this guy here, but you can't. But I'm gonna put this one here. Reason being, if I do say that sniper card was in here and I'd only had that guy in the purple bit, it would automatically have, and I've targeted him, and I'd lost my command person, which I don't want to do if I can help it. So that's my 3 moves. And my first one, we're going to get rid of some we're going to get this artillery into play for the first time. So here we go with Potansky. So Potansky's going to be all exhausted. Show you the rules for Potansky's forward artillery. And we can use him because we've got this counter which will be going back into stock. But this could really help. So it exhausts the counter, and we've seen the Soviet counter using the forward observer action chooses 2 adjacent Wehrmacht counters that it has line of sight to. Roll and attack against each of the 2 counters. If you notice, it doesn't say infantry as some do, so we can go after the tanks. Using 3 dice for each attack and compare it to each Wehrmacht counter's defence value. If at least one of the dice rolls equal to or exceeds, the Wehrmacht counter is moved from the board, placed back into stock. So we're in red. We've got these 2 here. So we're going after them. We can roll 3 dice for each of them. And I'm going to do it, it doesn't matter, I'm going to do it that one first, then that one. So on this one we need a 6. We've got it. So that one's gone. Now we roll 3 dice again for the Stug, and we need a 5 or above on this one. And we've got that. So that's a superb turn for us. So that's relieved some of the immediate pressure. We're still in trouble, but not as bad as it was. So that's one go. Second go, I am going to use Chekhov, his sniper ability, to try and get these scouts. So we're going to roll 4 dice, and one of them needs to be a 5 or a 6. It doesn't, I've done that twice now, but as you can see, It doesn't matter what that other dice was, we've got a 5, so we've done it. So they are 2 great turns for us. I've not used the action, and he's exhausted. What I can also do with my 3rd and final one, I'm going to use the command action for Naumov, and that will then put Chekhov back in play, and the forward observer Patansky back in play, and we're going to take a disrupted counter of Alexandrov. So that is not bad at all. That's a decent turn. So we've got 1 card there. Let's shuffle these guys. One thing I've not talked about actually is, I know it's a bit dangerous leaving these disrupted ones, because if you suddenly had a run of high scores, they move upwards, so we could be in danger with the 18 roll. But every time you place a disrupted counter on one of these empty ones, you add a fog of war. Because they're already disrupted, there's less to add to it. Now I haven't thought about it close enough to think, is that a good tactic? Because you've got to be careful. But I hope that makes sense. That's why I tend to leave some of those on. Although let's be fair, the disrupted counters all over the place on that. But I really do need soon a flotilla. I need to get these food across. Damn, we haven't got one. So we are looking in trouble here. Right. Now what I am going to do here, I'm going to do what I've just been talking about not doing. First things first, I want another artillery piece put in on here. So he's going into 10. I'm going to try and get rid of those if we can next turn, or at least thin them out a bit. So that's first go. Don't want any more reserves bringing in. The 267th, we've got 2 anti-aircraft, so I'm going to clear that as well. So that's our second go. And the third one, I'm going to clear one of these disrupted ones. Don't suppose it matters. It does matter which one, slightly. Yes, this one. Because of it going up, I'm using that one. That's the third one. We haven't got any sappers either at the moment to put into play. If I remove that one and then rolled a 15 with the 3 dice, so look at disrupt on there, so it moves up. It would have moved up to there, looking at starting to target this one, so it'd have taken that off and then just. So whereas with this one, it's just leaving it. If I roll a 15, it's just going to go to there. If that makes sense. Don't even know if that makes sense to me, but okay. Tactics. Stuka strike. Increase the number of Junkers J87s on each card by 1. So we're about due for that actually. So let's start with these cards. See where we go. So machine gunner. We've still got no suppression, so we can't do anything to stop it. We're just rolling 1 dice this time. What we don't want, I'm sure you know by now, is a 6. And a 2. That's not bad. Because the machine gunner card counter, there it is, goes there. We can potentially use Chekhov to take that guy out. That's one. Second card. Oh, another machine gunner. That's what we didn't want. 6. I did show that, didn't I? Yeah. So, get the machine gunner counter. And let's just put that down there. So, that one moves to there, that one moves to there. That one moves on to the sapper. So the sapper goes back into stock. We roll in 3 dice. defense value of 5, so we need a 5 or a 6 from one of these dice. And we've got a 6. We're on a good roll at the minute. Literally on a good roll. So this Panzer goes back into stock. Again, no sappers, so we need to do something about that. We've also got a disrupted counter on here, I noticed, so anyway, nothing I can do about that. So that's 2 cards gone. And another soldier. So let's see where the rifleman goes. Not a 6. And it is a 6. So we are very much in danger of losing. So we've got the rifleman counter from stock. And this time we can't do anything about him. But the other awkward point to this, if you can look over to the pack, is got the resupply coming up. We need 2 food. I've only got 1. So I need to get 2 flotillas in next turn. So we'll see. We'll see if the cards are kind to us. But anyway, right. I'm going to move 3. And what I'm going to do here is move Patansky to there. I'm going to swap in places, so that's 1 turn. I'm going to move Chekhov to there. That's my second go. And I'm going to move Hoalov or Kokolov. I can't, it looks like an H to me, and we're going to call him Hoalov. Into there. Okay. So I actually want to do 4 actions. I can't. Because I want to shoot at him with him. I want to have the forward artillery. I want to check up to take out the other guy. And then I want to unexhaust this guy. So something's got to give, and I think I know which it's going to be. So first of all, I'm going to take this artillery counter away. We're going to use Patansky's forward artillery observer status to try. I'm going to try take out. Definitely need that because Chekhov with his sniper rifle can't get rid of the Panzer. So first things first, I'm going to roll for the Panzer, and we need a 4 or above, and we have got a 4 there. So first lot of artillery takes out the Panzer, and then they've got to be adjacent, so I couldn't go for that one. I'm going for this one. They've got to be adjacent and on the same track on this, so I'm going for the machine gunners, 4 or above, and we've got it. Patansky is being a superstar and keeping us in the game here. He's now exhausted for turn 1. I'm going to use Chekhov now with this guy as my second action. So I'll just put the action. So let's exhaust him. And the rifleman, defense value of 4. And Chekhov has 4 dice rolls to roll a 4. So things are looking a bit better, aren't we? We're not going to win this game, but we might take it to the end. So we've got a 6 there, a 4, 4, 3. So that rifleman's gone. So that's 2 turns. And the third turn, I'm going to unexhaust Naumov, so the next turn he can get some of these back in play. Not going to get a chance to shoot with him. So we need flotillas. 1. Yes, 2. 3. This card has got to be another one of those or we're in trouble. And it is. So you know what I'm going to do. We're going to use 2 because one's disrupted. But we need to do it. I'm going to use 1. That's the last lot of food because the next one is right at the death. And it doesn't have a resupply side. So we've now got enough food. And I'll get another sapper just to try and show, or do we get a first aid? Do we do first aid? No. Sapper. No, first aid. Try and get a sapper over later. First aid. So that's 2 gone straight away. But they move on to there with 1. action, and then into the supplies with the second action. They're gone. We're all right for anti-aircraft at the minute, as you can see. We've got 2 there. And the 62nd. Do you know what? There's not a lot. Not desperate to do a lot here. 62nd Army. We don't need anything else coming into this box. It's not to say things are going well, but of the choices, we didn't move a sapper across. Because I wouldn't want to place a sapper because there's not a lot of an immediate danger. I know that can quickly change. So what I'm going to do is put another anti-aircraft token over in the 267th. Let's get stocked up on that, which gives us a bit of reading room, and that's our turn. So let's go with tactics. If Soviet counter is suppressed by a mortar this round, roll to target a different combat position in the same coloured area and roll to attempt to suppress it. So that comes into play. We haven't actually had many of the tactics cards come into effect, so we've got the resupply. We need 1 food for every 5 defenders, anywhere in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You can just see that reserve down there in the corner, which is 2 food, and as we know, we've done it. I know I'm getting ahead of myself here, but I'm just toying with the idea of whether we could actually bring this operational support into play at some point. Because we can afford to remove 1 of each of these from the game, from the start. That's not disrupted. We've got 1 disrupted there, 1 disrupted there. So we can get rid of those 2 tokens. We might have a shout of 4 victory points. Let's see how we go. So let's turn this over. If I can turn it over. And it's green. You need to score 50. You need to have 15 or more with the dice rolls for the number of attackers I have. We'll get 8 victory points with that. It's the green area. We could clear the green area, and we could have a go at that. Probably suicide as far as defending is concerned. So we've got options though, and we're getting near to the end of the game. And actually, this isn't going to be the last turn the way it's gone. I expected things to go a lot worse. So that's the first card anyway. Bomb Stalingrad. So 3 bombers, defend the roll defense of 4. I'm going to use 2 tokens, so I'm going to roll 4 dice, and I'll just take this one out and this one. So I'm going to take that one out. In fact, I'm going to take both of those. So I'm going to take them both from the 267th, which means we're rolling 4 dice. We need 4 and above on as many as possible. Get 4 and above on 3 of them. Gets rid of them all. And we didn't get any. Oh dear. So suddenly, I'll leave that there for now. My plans of getting these A's undisrupted look to have gone astray. So we've got a 12. So I think that's the one I just decided to change at the last minute for that one. So that worked quite well. Second bomber, 9 to 11, another 12, so that's both of those disrupted now. The final bomber is a 14, and 14's full. Oh, so yeah, it is a 14. It goes up to the 16, so we're back where we were before. So we've got a lot of disrupted areas. Too worried about that at the minute. We've got a rifleman. Where's he going to go? Still got no suppressions in play. On that trigger. And it's a 6. So our rifleman goes there. But that's the end of their turn. Okay. Let's do ours. Okay, he's going to come into play. We haven't got... Do I move anybody? There's no use with this guy here at the moment, so I'm not bringing him back into play. He could bring in a couple of points for reserves, because there's no more food required, which would help if we do get a chance to storm there, because we've got cannon fodder basically. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to find, okay, who they are, one value. So he's coming in. I vag him off, or I vag him off. So I don't care who they are, I might as well have, I don't want them all. And Kiselev. So they're going into the reserves area to try and storm. Now, that's the first action, so he's exhausted now. What I'm also going to do, in anticipation of this, I couldn't move him, so I've just left things as they are. This guy is going to roll 2 dice, so his attack value is 2, to try and get rid of this machine gunner, which will clear it for us to try this raid. We're going for the raid. So we've got 2 dice, and we need a 4 or above from one of them. And we've got it from both. So that is clear. So this is getting exciting now. My third go, I'm not going to put the action on, but you know what I'm doing. This is the third and final one. Using his command status, we're going to unexhaust the forward observer, check off, and this guy, because he might take part in the raid, whereas I want to keep this guy if I can. So that is the end of the turn. And we've still got a bit to go, so I'm going to call it, I'm going to stop the recording here, and then I'm going to go straight on with another recording, which should finish it. It's expected to lose before this, but it's gone quite well this turn, so we'll leave it there, and I will be back very soon with the finale, and we'll be starting, hopefully, with storming the Voentorg.